Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9. Bad news for Rick Grimes, and a word was used last night as far as leaking information, and we're going to talk about some information that has been leaked, that is out there, some interviews that are starting to surface. We're getting closer and closer to the premiere, and then something that one of my viewers posted, and it was as obvious as the Shane riding the white horse. And I got to be honest with you, I have been, with the magnifying glass, Sherlock Holmes, looking for every minor detail. And there's a tidbit of information tonight that is so obvious that I've missed it. Many of you have missed it because of our attachment to Andrew Lincoln. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get started, I do want to do a super chat shout out. We got Valar in the house. That's Valar. You doing? Hold on, like some double super chat. How did that even happen? That was like a double your pleasure, double meant fun type of thing. But anyway, Valar doing a double super chat that says, "Hello 999 Army, Kill Steph, Emmy Kells, Sweet Tommy sponsors, Patreons, and of course all the super chatters that are out there." So thank you so much. Appreciate that. I guess it's a double super chat just to prepare everybody. And I know there's the calls out there. People are saying, "Kills, I hope this is clickbait. I hope it's fake news. Don't let us down again." But I'm going to let you down again because the interviews are starting to surface. We are going to go into detail. We're going to talk about how these potential storylines could play out. I'm not going to make you wait till the very end, but I am going to rehash a little bit of what we talked about last night because I think it's important not only to talk about the interviews, but to sort of layer them because it's got to pass all the tests for us to give it a go. So, this is an interview with Angela Kang, and we talked about with Angela Kang that Scott Gimple's been speaking up a little bit, but their interviews are very similar, so it looks coordinated to me. We'll go into details about more of this interview and what she said, but she says Rick's exit will leave an incredible emotional impact. So once again, we got the showrunners, we've got people on the show saying it's epic, it's graceful, but it's going to leave this emotional impact. It's going to affect you. Kind of like I'm doing, right? I mean, isn't this what we're doing? We're getting together talking about something because we think it's going to leave this incredible emotional impact. I mean, what have we said in our streams? Like, we're holding on to hope. We don't want Rick to die. But if he does, we're going to talk about it. It's going to get a little bit easier for a week or two. But then once we see it, bam, it's going to be like walking right into a wall. So we are trying to lessen the impact a little bit more. And I think this is exactly what the powers that be. They're simultaneously telling us Rick is in a world of trouble, but we got all these other characters done a really good job. We've got new characters we're going to give you, so just hold tight, which is very similar to what we're saying. And a ton of great comments out there, and I will definitely call on you guys in a couple seconds, but thank you. I see a lot of people saying this first time they've watched live. Huge crowds the last couple nights. I'm going to ask you guys, do me a big favor. If you're brand new and you like the streams the last couple nights, hit that 999 button in the bottom right corner. Subscribe. We want your opinions. We want your thoughts included in this video. I'll call in a few people. I'll definitely call in people at Super Chat. We'll stop what we talk about. But if I don't get a chance to, keep in mind your thoughts, your comments are streaming. So I'll either address some of them or people watch the video will see your comments. They're going to be a part of this video as well. Also, just a tremendous amount of people here. If you guys are part of the 999 Army, if you love what we do, hit that like button. Get this thing up to a lot of likes. I see Lynn Cantrell saying, "I'm heartbroken already. I'm not prepared for him to die." And we are going to be talking about it a little bit. So I'm going to jump to really quickly, and we'll go back and forth with some of these slides. So as we talked about last night, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. If you missed the stream last night, go back and watch. We had a lot of fun with it. But keep in mind, when they interviewed Andrew Lincoln, remember, the character is Rick Grimes. This is important. The character is Andrew Lincoln. When they interviewed Andrew, he said, "What is the legacy of Rick Grimes? As always, and all other big deaths." So he's comparing his death to other deaths. So I think that's a clue, right? Let me jump on to one more topic here. And before I get into what Scott Gimple said, we have to talk about the script. Okay, when the script came out, They were so confident when the script was released. You know, it had the two little coffee cup circles, and it was read backwards, and people researched it, and Spoiling Dead fans page came out and said, we've deciphered it. We spent a lot of time. This is what it said. And then Spoiling Dead fans page actually backed off a little bit and said, we're getting some new information. We hear it might be left open-ended. So because it was so obvious, they backed away from it because they've never really been fed information like this soon and this quick. But it does fall in line with the other things that are happening. It does appear that AMC is intentionally leaking information to lessen the impact about him leaving the show. And it's so different than every other season. It was so obvious that they said, you know, they're screwing around with us. You know, they're just messing around with us. They're doing this. They don't want us to know. But in my mind, it doesn't look like they don't want people to know. It looks as if they want a retirement ceremony for Rick Grimes. Hold on one second, because I got to super chat this. This is Rick Fisher in the house. Says, I'm so moved you guys are reacting about my death. Rick Fisher, if you were leaving the show or leaving the 999 Army, we would be reacting the same way. That's all I have to say about that. So, of course, you're important here. Here's one of the thoughts that I have with this. So I saw this video the other day. I like to use sports analogies. Maybe you like him, maybe you don't. But Dwayne Wade had this Instagram post, this YouTube post that was going viral, and it's like, I've thought about it. I've loved my time in NBA. I did this, and it was like, come on, Dwayne, get to the point. He's like, I'm going to stick around for one more season. So it was like just unveiled. So not only are they trying to give Rick this victory lap and give Andrew this victory lap, but they're also marking it. They're doing a marketing job to the full potential of the show. They're saying, hang on, watch Rick Grimes' final episodes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the light bulb went off. And Denise LTD, one of my viewers, actually posted this as a comment, and then it was super, super obvious at that moment. Of all the things we talked about, of all the things we've investigated, I'm going to bring up this one little simple thing. AMC has not said, tune in for Andrew Lincoln's final episodes. They are saying tune in for Rick Grimes' final episodes. And I don't want to discount this. As we talk about stating the obvious over and over. You see, here's the thing. We've always correlated Andrew Lincoln is Rick Grimes. But this is not a celebration necessarily of Andrew Lincoln. It is in part. But they were very selective in their words. Tune in and wish Andrew Lincoln well. Tune in. Their verbiage is tune in for Rick Grimes' final episodes. Now, here's the thing. When you do a going out of business sale, you can't keep doing a going out of business sale. You can't do it over and over and over again. For them to walk this back would be extremely difficult to say, Rick Grimes' final episodes. It's not, Rick Grimes' final episodes, Rick Grimes' episodes a season. This, to me, has a finale to it. And the fact that they could have just said tune in, but they're putting it in print. They're talking about it. So here's the thing. And you might have seen this. Exactly, Chosen One. It's not necessarily about Andrew. It's about Rick Grimes. So let me recap here for a couple of minutes. And now there are 4 or 5 glaring, obvious, telling us exactly what is going to go down. You've got a leaked script 2 months ago that said Rick will be surrounded by walkers, Rick will be devoured by walkers. John Bernthal's on set, that Michonne want to go in and Maggie will restrict her. And that was big news. We talked about it. And then everybody was debating it like, no, there's no way that could go down. And it got debated to a point where the spoiler sites had walked it back. So that's issue number one. So we got, and hold on one second, because I got a super chat I want to jump over to as well. Rapid X, long time no see. Emmy, Steph Kills, keep it up. Thank you so much, Rapid. Appreciate it, and appreciate that super chat, your contribution to the channel. So we'll get there. So one, I think the fake script was real. I think it was a real script that was out there and it was obvious, and there was a lot of playing around with it, going back and forth, to a degree where people thought, why would we get this dropped in our lap? We thought that the people that took the picture of the fake script were doing it to throw people off, when in actuality, it looks like it was a direct leak. Like, here, start talking about it, start getting ready for it. You won't be in complete shock. Rick is going to do his victory lap. Andy's going to do his victory lap. People need to get conditioned to the loss and the exit of Rick Grimes. But it didn't have that impact because what have we done for the last month and a half? We've talked about hope, right? We've talked about, no, this scenario is going to work out. No, this scenario is going to work out. It's almost as if AMC threw their hands up and said, look, we know it's going to be spoiled anyway. We know some people are going to get the information out there. Let's be proactive and let's get it out there before everybody else, and let's start to celebrate the life, the accomplishments of Rick Grimes. Not leave people in doubt and shock people that all of a sudden he's gone. So if they do that, they can market it. Because if they don't do that, this is what's going to happen. You're going to watch episode number 1, and people are going to hang on. They're not going to know something's going to go down. You're going to get a decent amount of viewers. It's a new season. Then you're going to watch episode number 2, and it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden you're getting to 5. It's going to be like, holy, what happened? Rick's gone? Did you see that? Go back and watch it. Well, I'm never watching it again. And then you're only going to go back and watch episode number 5, and you're not going to hype it. The hype train's not going to be there all the way up to it. But if they put it in plain sight, people, look. You cannot be any more plain than this. Here it is, right there, black and white. The Walking Dead Rick Grimes final episodes, starting 10/7. Scott Gimple has said it. Andrew Lincoln, his exit is imminent, so other people have to work it out. We cannot state it any more than what these guys are stating it. We went through every one of these interviews. Scott Gimple comes out and says there's a brutality to Rick's ending. There's also a grace and a very epic aspect. And who's not going to want to watch the last few episodes of Rick Grimes? Now, as I said before, you kind of got to piece these things together. And I got another super chat, so hold on one second, because we're gonna layer this. We've got Pete M. So if he dies or leaves, Rick is gone for good. Yes. Yes, I think so. Now, once again, is there a small chance that it could be vague but not vague? And what do I mean by this? Where you see it happen right before your eyes, like Madison, but you don't see it happen right before your eyes. So there's always going to be that legacy that Rick lives on. But I really think that when Andy's talking about, how Rick is going to be important to him, and his job with Rick is not done. He follows that up in the conversation by saying that as other major deaths, they live through the characters in the show. So we got a ton of people here tonight because I know people, they want to jump all over this information. I'm going to ask all the new people, you guys can do me a big favor. Subscribe, hang out with us. We're going to get more facts. We're going to walk through the show as we go. We're going to get more visual evidence. But also 400, 500 people here. Everybody here, jump in, hit this like button. If you're part of the 999, our army, if you're part of our Facebook fan page, you want to get involved in the chats and everything that we do, hit the like button, hang out with us a little bit more. Definitely want to get your thoughts and would love to see you in future streams and future videos just to get your input in there as well. So let's go back a couple months. This is what we have. A rumor that was confirmed. It was leaked that Andy was leaving the show. Remember, it was leaked at first. It didn't just happen. It was calculated. So that would probably be step number one. All right, we got Jimmy's jamming with a thought here. So Jimmy says, I know Rick is leaving. How it happens, Kill is going to determine how much psychotherapy I'm going to need. Thank the powers that be that 999 is here. Jimmy, I happen to be a psychology major, so I will try to give you any type of, I can't legally practice it to you, but I can, I can let you cry on my shoulder. I think legally I can do that. All right, so number one, let's go back and retrace the steps here. And thank you for that super chat, Jimmy. Appreciate it. So number one, word got out to a newspaper that Andy was leaving the show. Just didn't happen. It got out. Okay? Number two, we were scurrying around like, is this true? Are you kidding me? This is last season. Oh, he's leaving because of Carl. No, he's leaving because of this. And then they had to clarify why he was leaving because they were about to have a revolt. So Andy leaves. All right, so next step. We get a picture of a upside down script with 2 circles, and we will post that again. We'll post it in tomorrow's video if you guys want to see it again. I don't have the images readily available, but we will discuss it again because I think it's relevant now. And it was detective work because then people started, looking at it backwards and enlarging it, and this is what it means, and we made out this word, we made out this word. Literally, there were hours and hours and hours of time spent on this script to find out what happened. And people were like, what? Shane's back? So, the script. And then we'd already heard that Shane was coming back to film. So that was confirmed. Then we started hearing Lori, Carl, Herschel, other people like, well, wait a minute. Why would all these people? Because the pushback was, well, Rick's not going to envision Shane. I mean, that's not going to be the last person he sees if he were to die. That doesn't make any sense. But then you start seeing all these other people, and then it made more sense that these flashbacks would probably be more along the lines of Rick's life flashing before his eyes, not that he would be captured. So even though we hung on to hope, we still were only hearing Rick's exit, Rick's exit, Rick's exit. So we questioned it. We said, we've never heard death actually used. So you got the script, you got a confirmed rumor with Andy, and then you get all these other interviews that are starting to surface. And for the first time last week, we finally hear out of Andy's mouth, and he had to know what he was saying. They're like, look, I do think we're a couple weeks out. So it almost appears as if they know how we feel about it, and they're saying, you guys are not getting it. We're trying to tell you what's going to happen, but the Walking Dead fans love Rick so much that you guys are going to hold on to hope until you're completely heartbroken. So what do? Because, we're ramping up hope. Like, maybe there's there's this other chance. The helicopter's a chance. So they do a couple things. Actually, even before this, they pull down the Comic-Con trailer. And I am convinced when they pulled down the Comic-Con trailer that they not only, we know they turned up the volume on the whispers, but I'm also convinced that some of those other the images were enhanced. Because when I initially watched The White Horse, I wasn't sure. But when I went back and watched it again, it seems like it's just a couple seconds longer. Because I was trying to freeze frame it and get that image, and I couldn't get it just right. And I went back and watched the playback of it, and it was like, oh, okay, immediately I had this still shot of what I feel is Shane. But then this interview came out, and specifically the legacy of Rick Grimes, as always, and all other big deaths on the show, you're carried through the characters who are left. This, to me, not only acknowledged that he was going to die along with other characters, but it also brought closure to when he said that his relationship with Rick Grimes is far from over. See, that second part of the sentence, to me, you are carried through the characters who are left. So Rick Grimes is always going to live on by the actions and the interactions and the dialogue of other people. He's not going to be forgotten about. No one is more important than the story. So, hey, cry for me, miss me, but the story has to go on. The show must go on. So, that to me was really the part that hit home. And then, as they started to market it and really ramp it up more and more, I can't get over the fact that, look, you guys aren't getting it. Kill shot, you're not getting it. We fed you guys the script. You didn't believe the script. We told you it was going to be brutal. You didn't believe it was going to be brutal. We told you Andy was leaving. Some people don't think Andy's leaving. They don't know why he's leaving. So now we're just going to tell you that these are Rick Grimes' final episode, not Andrew Lincoln's final episode. This is the end of him. He's not coming back. If you want to leave it slightly open-ended, you can leave it slightly open-ended for the people that need that hope, that have to not see it happen. There are people who still have hope that Madison's alive. Not a lot of them, but there are people. So if we don't see Rick devoured and in the belly of some walker, there are still going to be people that think he's alive if he gets completely surrounded. And that may not be a bad thing. Now, I don't like it any more than you. We're going to struggle with this. But as we said in the last couple streams, sometimes it's my job to give a little bit of hope, and I like that. But it's also, I can't dispute what is right in front of my eyes. And I am going to super chat, and then we're going to do something. I'm going to ask all the people in the stream to do something once I acknowledge a super chat. We got a couple here. So I got Julie McGuire says, when Chandler left it, said, Carl's farewell. So what is more final? The words final or farewell? To me, they're both final. I think you bring up a good point. But I guess final would be slightly more, because if it's Carl's farewell, you could always say, hey, see ya, I'm going to be Pirate Carl and get on a boat. I'll see you again. And that was final. But Rick's final episode, if they would have said Andrew Lincoln's final episode, I would have left open the possibility of a recast or some other things. Thanks for that super chat. That's a good point. We got Pete M with another super chat as well. And Pete says, no matter what happens, we will need 999 to get through it. We're certain he is dying now. So, let me say this to the group. No matter how it goes down, no matter what comes into play, whether we see it happen or it's just a little bit vague, we will be here that night. We will be here the next night, and we will be here the following week. We're not going anywhere. So we will do the best we can to come together and have a support network. And here's the other thing that I will say, and I love the spoiler sites. I respect other YouTube sites that are out there. Let me say this, and let me say this with all the passion in the world. There are good forum chats, but we do it real time. So yes, you can log on to Spoiling Dead's fan page. You can log on to their Facebook page. You can leave a comment and wait 10 minutes for someone to comment. You come here that night afterwards, we are going to be piecing it together, and we're going to be an awesome support network. I mean, that's what we do. That's what the Army's all about. We got Mel the Vulture. We got a legend in the house. Mel making a debut. So Mel says, so Kills. As someone left in a comment on your previous video, why does it not say Andrew Lincoln's last episode versus Rick Grimes? Oh, well, you know what? As much as I love Mel the Vulture, I can definitely tell who arrives late. So I'm going to put this graphic up one more time for Mel the Vulture. Exactly. And that was, I do want to give a shout out to Denise LTD. Denise is a pretty hardcore super chatter as well. You guys have probably noticed her from time to time. But Denise left the comment, and I had looked over this multiple times. So I'm not taking credit for this. And people probably thought this, but it did not have that light bulb moment until she said it. So when she did, I wanted to kind of highlight that in tonight's episode because we have talked about 3 or 4 other things. So Mel with his great hair did show up a little bit late, and that's what we got right now. So it is. Hey, you know what? No worries, Mel. You were working or you were either styling that hair. One or the other. We'll probably take a vote on that shortly. All right, we got another super chat in the house. So this is 1189 Paris, and 1189 Paris says, AMC's Walking Dead trailers are having an opposite effect on me. I'm dreading the season and finally not too excited for the season. Thank God for Morgan and Fear. Paris, I think that's a fair point. But it's probably because they are ramping it up now and they're going to continue to do it and release bits and pieces. But I do think that once October 7th happens, there's going to be a hype. I mean, it's almost as like we talked about earlier. You know how we're going to kind of be dreading it. We're going to be a little bit numb to it. But then once the show starts, there's going to be some excitement. There's going to be some other stories. I mean, that's what they do. I would say even if you feel like that, if I were a betting person, I would still bet you'll still watch. And maybe you won't. I mean, I'm not going to profess to know everybody and what everybody's going to do and what they're not going to do. But I think it is a good point. I think it's a fair assessment. I think you can overmarket things to a degree. But I also know on October 7th, this room is going to be packed, and we're going to be excited to watch The Walking Dead again because it's been a while since we've seen it. We love the show. One thing that I'm going to try to do, if this goes down in the way that we think it's going to go down with Rick, we're going to try to not be overly negative. We're going to try to celebrate what Rick meant to the show. So I do have to ask a question. And Roy, not only am I going to hide that comment, but let me just say that racial comments are not allowed on this channel. We don't allow racial comments or sexist comments or people insulting our other viewers. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you to never show up on another one of our streams. It's just not, it's not cool. It's not appropriate. Sorry, but you have no rights to be here any longer. All right. Now back to the adult conversation, because there's always one, right? I I'm going to ask all the people that do want to be here, that like being a part of what we do, that like being a part of our chat, based on what we've talked about the last 2 days. I know we've talked about theories and we've hyped up hope. But I ask you guys, just a point-blank question, because I want to see who's still believing. Death or open-ended? Everybody in this right now, maybe you don't normally speak up in chat. I want as many opinions as possible. Based on the 4 or 5 clues that we've given the last couple of days, does Rick Grimes die, or does Rick Grimes' story continue open-ended? And I think we're probably going to have 90% of people are going to say death now. Now, and it's okay. I mean, I'm not going to tell you which way to go, because this is probably maybe the 3rd or 4th time we've asked this question. I'm going to ask you to answer with your head, not your heart. Based on what has been presented to you, if we were making a case, most people, you can see they're leaning toward the fact that he dies. Now, a few weeks ago we did this, and I would probably say it was the opposite. It was probably 75 to 80% said there's no way they're going to kill him off. There's no way it can happen. And you can see just in the course of a few clues that feeling has definitely shifted. I love it. Jimmy's not only saying it, he's super chatting it. And he says, I'll never stop believing. Don't stop believing. Hey, Jimmy, you know what? I respect it. I'm not going to try to. I'm going to present the facts as I see it. I'm going to tell you where I stand on the argument. But by no means do I want to, try to control your thoughts or say you have to go in this direction or the other. I think you guys also know that if I was writing it, how I would have written it out, how I want the story to end, and some things that I think I could do to keep hope alive. And I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that these things are all, red herrings, and they're meant to mislead. Once, maybe, twice, but when you got 5 or 6 clues, it's really hard to bet against it. Mel going on record of saying Rick doesn't die. But here's the thing, and please, those of you that are regulars on the show, don't make the assumption this is the way I want it to go down. I think I'm on the record many, many times of saying, I hope it's open-ended. They need it to be open-ended. I won't agree with it. If it's not open-ended, I'll still watch the show, but it is going to bother me. But there's only so many times I can look at the sky and say it's not blue. It's not blue. And then you give me another clue, and there's nothing in the trailer that is more powerful than what has been said, if that makes sense. So I have not been able to find anything in the trailer that is 100% without a doubt, I found this and he lives. I have not been able to see any images where we can go back and say, I found this and there's a chance. Everything leads toward him dying, but it doesn't conclusively say he dies. But then the dialogue leans more toward him dying. And that's the struggle right now, everybody. June Smith of Super Chat saying, hope is the substance of things unseen. I am keeping the hope. June, I'm trying. I mean, I've kept the hope for a long time. But I'm going to go with he dies, and I'm going to hope I'm wrong. How about that? I still can hold that little bit of hope. That, no doubt about it, Mel. But you can usually see enough in the trailer to make a valid story. And I would say there's more things in the trailer that make me think, I mean, you see his boots and you see him bleeding. And once again, is that someone else bleeding? Or I'm going to do a super chat and I'm going to ask you guys a follow-up question. Because it's Jimmy's Jammin'. Says, Kills, all I have left is faith. Because you got to have faith, faith, faith. Jimmy's got to have faith. All right, I get it. I'm not going to fault that. And thank you for that super chat as well. I gave you just a little George Michael for that. So we've talked about 4 blatantly obvious things. So can I suggest number 5? Is it possible that while we were looking at the boots and looking at Rick bleeding or the blood dripping down, is it possible that, quite frankly, it's just Rick's blood and Rick is dying? And they served that up on a platter. Remember, we're so used to The Walking Dead tricking us. Is it possible that that's just another obvious thing? Like, look, he's bleeding. He told you he was going to leave. We told you it was going to be brutal. We told you it's going to be an emotional impact. Rick just told you they're going to die. And we're going to promote it, say, Rick's final episode. So now we're up to like 5 different things here. It's almost as if it's getting too easy that we're expecting to be tricked. For 8 seasons, they've been tricking us. And the spoiler sites are even so tricked that they put out a spoiler and they pulled the spoiler back, and now they don't know which direction to go with it. That's worse than actually tricking them. All right, we got another super chat in the house. We got Six Side Sports super chatting it up and says, just like what happened with Glenn, Abraham, Carl, all the evidence was there, but people were still denying it. Unfortunately, I think this time is no different. You know what? I love that comment, and we're going to make that our super chat spotlight. So this is what I want you guys to do. I'm going to read this again, and I want you guys to chime in on what you think with this with Six Side Sports. So once again, he says, it's just like what happened with Glenn, Abraham, and Carl. All the evidence was there, but people are still denying it. Unfortunately, I think this time is no different. The only difference, I will say, Six Side, is the evidence with Carl, the spoiler that was out there, and the spoiler that was on Spoiling Dead's fan page for a long time, was that Carl got stabbed. And they thought that Negan stabbed Carl. But the screams in the background from the explosions going on, that was not Carl. But yes, they did have it that Carl died. And then they found out later, and then Chandler contacted them and they didn't release it. But the first spoiler they released was incorrect. I just want to go on the record of saying that. They knew Carl would die, but then when they found out exactly the way it happened, they held it. And Lakeisha, it's a great point. The difference is that Rick Grimes is the main character. No doubt. Drama King, that's a good point. I don't know that I believe it. And I don't know in this case if I believe it, because it's so obvious what the fan reaction is going to be to Rick's death. I don't think you need to do that for him. Now, to other people, I would say I would agree with you to a certain extent if you're talking about other characters. Possibly. Well, you know what? Let's put the Army to the test here. Can any of you give me a situation to where you thought fan reaction determined a character's death? And that there was a change of course? And Toledo, I agree with you 100%. Glenn Dumpster, no way. No way. That happened? No. The Glenn Dumpster was not a reaction. That was poorly written, and it was poorly written in advance. There was no way that they changed Glenn's entire storyline for the second half of the season because of that and went back and had it filmed within 2 weeks. Glenn's dumpster scene was absolutely a tease. And Glenn's dumpster scene was probably more to take the pulse of the fans to see what it was going to be like when Glenn actually died. They knew how Glenn was going to die. They knew Glenn was going to die for Negan. But they probably put that out there to get the reaction, but not to change the narrative. And I do agree with that. But I don't know that there's been a situation I can think of that someone was going to die and then they changed it because of fan reaction. Now, I can think of the opposite approach. I know Dale was popular, and I know Dale asked to leave the show because of what was going on with Frank Darabont, and then changed his mind, and they said, nope, we've already written it, and you're going to die, and they killed the character. So I know they went forward with things, even when they probably had an opportunity to change it. But I think there's so many other characters that relate to the storyline. A lot of times when it's done, it's done. Unless you can leave it open-ended like, the great Morales. I mean, yeah, he had to come back. So maybe Morales would be your only argument? That, they couldn't leave him dead because of fan reaction. So there you go. I'll give you that. Good comments, though. And, and I don't know that, has there been a moment in the show prior to this season where any of you felt like Rick really, really was going to die? Like Rick was gone? See if you guys can remind me of a Rick moment where you thought, even when Jada shot him, we didn't think Rick was going to die there. That wasn't going to happen. I don't think it's even really been teased. Now, Carl's a different story. Negan was going to chop Carl's arm off, and Negan would have beat Carl senseless. So I think that, to a degree, was taking the pulse of the fans as well for maybe a future Carl death. But I don't think there's been a time in the show where we really thought we were at fear of losing Rick. So it does make sense that when they're going to do it, why hide it? It ain't going to change anything. Look, everybody, instead of you finding out the day of, instead of a few people leaking it, instead of YouTubers going crazy and we got some information on this, let's just put it out there and say, you got a few more episodes to enjoy him. Terminus 2. Yeah, there's been some Glenn teases, right? Terminus, that slipped my mind. And then the dumpster. Yeah, Mel, I would agree with that. I think, kind of. Mel says with super chat, Rick outside the trailer by Negan to fetch the hatchet, closest I can think. I didn't feel like Rick was in danger at that moment. Part of it is because I had the script. So, I knew Rick wasn't in danger. I'll put it that way. And I had extensive details with that script. That kind of landed in my lap, coincidentally. But I don't know if I still would have thought, all right, this guy's really going to kill Rick. Because I, like many of you, have always seen Rick is the show. Rick is the lead of the show. And at some point, they're trying to pry it away from him, even though he's the one that chose to leave. As long as he wanted to be there, he would be the heart and soul of the show. Just like I think Nick on Fear the Walking Dead, as long as he wanted to be there, they would have had him be a central part of the show. I still think they would have killed Madison, and they would have let Nick and Alicia's characters develop. But, people want to leave, so show must go on. 1189 Paris says the Claimers came pretty close to killing Rick. Yeah, but once again, I don't know that I've ever felt Rick could be at the edge of a cliff with walkers completely surrounding him, and I wouldn't have thought he was going to die until it got in mainstream media. And once people are doing it on media and social media and talking about it and pictures are surfacing and they're giving goodbye hugs and all of that, at that point, it's real. It's real life, so I'm going to believe that over the story. Lakeisha says with a super chat. Thank you, Lakeisha. Why did they not kill Maggie? They don't know if she's coming back. What if her show does well? Why kill Andy? Why not leave it open? I would say, just based on what I've read, that they do think there's a possibility that Maggie could come back, that Maggie could film both if she chose to, that Lauren may want to be involved in that. Andy must have made it pretty clear, I'm going in a different direction. I'm not coming back to the show. I'm going to start doing movies. I'm going to start doing something local. I'm going to spend time with my family. But I'm not going to spend these 6-7 months over in Georgia filming this. So the only thing I could say to answer that is the real life element. When they sit down with Lauren, they probably said, are you open to the possibility of coming back? And she is, because in interviews, she has said that. With Andy, it's been more final. But there's no doubt in my mind, if there was the slightest possibility Andy would come back, he could negotiate whatever he wanted to negotiate. I think they'd give him a couple $1 million an episode, to be perfectly honest with you. And you're asking this from a perspective. Everybody has things that are important to them. So let me make it real for you guys, okay? Because we get this debate a lot, and the only time I can really give you an answer, and if you're watching at home, and I'm not trying to take away from The Walking Dead, but sometimes I have to use a real live example in order to make people realize that fame is not, it's not what drives everybody. All right. If you feel comfortable answering this question, please answer. If you don't, then don't. How many people here out of the 500 people we've had watching, and actually by the time the stream goes live, we'll have 2,000 people been in and out, so hopefully we catch most of them. How many people here have a person or a pet that you really love, you really care about? Kid, significant other, animal, one of the above. That is like, that's a lot of your world. Okay, and I know almost everybody. Let's say, for example, you have a net worth of $10 million. And this significant thing, person or pet, required your attention. Either it was sick, or it was lonely, or the relationship was frayed, and you didn't need to work. And you could walk away. So you've got this obligation, this larger-than-life character that you don't have to keep doing. You can do it. You can satisfy the fans, and you can say, I'm going to work every day because the fans want one more show. Give us one more show. Don't stop. You know, sometimes we're streaming. We get people that'll say, Kills, give us one more hour. Or let's hang out a little bit more. A couple more streams during the week. I'm not comparing myself to Andrew Lincoln, but I'm just making an example. Maria Favada says I'd walk away. And Toledo saying I'd walk away in a heartbeat. So most people are saying that this is my commitment. Now, we are angry because Andy doesn't want to continue to film for us. How selfish is that of us, that this guy has given 10 years of his life to a show, played the character immaculate, and we need him to come back. We need it to be open-ended. We want him to come back because it's about us. But it really isn't. He's got the opportunity to say, kill my character, let me walk away, and I can go and enjoy my family and do something a little bit later on. So almost everybody here is saying they'd walk away, but yet when it's somebody else's character, we don't necessarily understand it. And I got to stop my thought here because I got mail with a super chat. I mean, this super chat is so super, it lit up the whole screen because it's red. So this is a $99 super chat. Mel, that is way overboard. So thank you so much. I'm going to read his comment, which the comment is as important, more important than the super chat, because it says, seriously love your channel and interactions, man. I fear I won't be able to be here in the near future to catch live streams anymore. The Army is awesome. I'm out for now. Everyone have a good night and play nice in the chat after episode 5 airs. I do want to say, number one, Mel, I hope that you do have time to drop in from time to time, even if it's just not to drop into Super Chat, just drop in for a couple minutes and say, hey, what's up? If not, I would love to get some of your interactions in the playback. But definitely appreciate you being here, appreciate your insight, and never want to lose anybody. I mean, we're growing this channel that we want everybody's ideas and everybody to be a part of this. So hopefully we will get Mel that will make some time and pop in from time to time. If you guys would all like to see Mel in a future stream, just to pop in for like 2 minutes, can everybody just give me a quick Mel, just like a MEL up on the screen? Or Mel999, how about that? Mel999, show a little bit of love for one of our amazing super chatters. So you guys know. There you go. So you got a lot of love in here. Appreciate it. Mel the Vulture with perfect hair. So, and to kind of finish my point, because I don't want it to be what this whole entire stream is about, but almost everybody that I asked that question to a little bit ago said, I would walk away in a heartbeat. I'm going to go with my family. I'm going to go, we all have commitments. I I love being here streaming for you guys every night, and I hope that I never get in a situation where I have to make a choice. Because this is a family, and this is a lot of fun, and I want to keep going as long as you guys will be here. We've added some new people. We've lost some people. You guys actually make personal sacrifices sometimes to be a part of this stream, and I don't want that to go unnoticed. I appreciate it. But I do have people that sent me information that said, hey, Kills, I haven't seen a stream in 3 months or 4 months, had this going on, and we always get it. We always understand. So for Rick's character, to kind of answer that super chat question from before, Lakeisha, I think it was you that super chatted it. That could be the difference. Is Rick went in point blank and said, "This is where I'm at. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm not coming back." Or he might have said, "I'll do a couple radio broadcasts to keep the hope alive a couple seasons from now." That could have been a conversation as well. But I do think it went down with Lauren much, much differently. 1189 Paris says AMC should have been open to recasting the role of AMC since the role of Rick, since Andrew Lincoln probably wants to pursue other things. I have been a strong advocate of that after the time skip. Paris, many viewers and many fans are not, and they've shot my ideas down. But yeah, I've said my progression has been this. Number 1, leave it open-ended, keep him alive. Number 2, time skip, recast an older Rick Grimes. Number 3, kill him. Him dying has always been the bottom of my list, and it always will be. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but I'm down. I'm down to continue to support Rick Grimes in any way, shape, or form we possibly could. And it would be dangerous, but you could recast him and then kill him if it didn't work out. It would not be the corniest thing they ever did. They've done some corny stuff before, right? And I will agree with that as well. This might actually be what it takes to get him an Emmy. I mean, him dying might finally get them over the top. Actually, you know what? Because he has not gotten one, let's throw this question out there for the group. If the writing is good in episode 5 and he dies in episode 5, I know you haven't seen it yet. Emmy possibility? Thoughts? I know I'm asking you to predict the future before you've seen whether it's even a good episode. But could that be the type of thing that gets him a little bit of extra attention that he might need? I know what we're going to say. Exactly. We're going to say, give it to him. You know what? We'll start hyping it up like as much as we possibly can. We'll get our whole army like hashtagging Rick Emmy, or something along those lines. No doubt. I mean, he's had some really memorable. They should have given him an Emmy for what he went through with Pete and Deanna. We will. We'll start a campaign for it because obviously we can't start a campaign to save Rick Grimes because, what is written is written. All right, and we're rolling up on an hour, and just an amazingly wonderful crowd here tonight. As we said before, I'm put up on the screen one more time, just so you guys know. If nothing else has been obvious with the interviews, we did circle it. We did talk about it. Mel brought up a little bit earlier. My shout out to Denise LTD, for actually typing this in one of the comments that all the hype has been around Rick Grimes' final episodes. Even though we care about Andy and we know Andy, is Rick Grimes, AMC is looking to really promote it in a way that Rick is leaving the show. And I don't know that you can walk this back. I don't know that you can make it corny. I don't know that they can leave it open-ended at this point. I guess he could leave and never come back, but that would just be very, very tough for me to understand, especially with Judith and Michonne being alive as well. I did promise some time skip talk, so we will get into that tomorrow night. And we are going to talk about the time skip, what it looks like 18 months later, what it looks like 5 years later. We'll talk about some individual events. So stay tuned for that. Unless we get some really good spoiler information tomorrow, that'll be kind of the direction we go. You guys are absolutely amazing. So people watching the playback, this is usually where we're going to do the closing credits, which is going to be a whole lot of shout-outs because we got a lot of people tonight. I do like to start with the patrons up in the top left-hand corner. You can see we added a couple patrons. My apologies to Crystal Neufeld. She's been a patron for a couple of weeks, and I didn't have it up on the bulletin board. But last night we signed up Angie Homan as well. So thank you, Angie. Appreciate that. So 60 sponsors and patrons. Just amazing, amazing support from each and every one of you guys. I'm extremely humbled by everything that you guys do for this channel. People are patrons and make a financial contribution each and every month. If you are interested in that, there is a description down below of how to sign up for that. You get a few little extra tidbits and personal information here or there. Also, I will partner with you from time to time, what we're going to talk about in streams. You can also see people with their name highlighted in green. Those are the sponsors over in the top right corner. A list of those. They also have custom emojis. And, of course, my moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, and Kels. And then just some super chats tonight. I'm going to give a real quick shout out to all the people that super chatted in the stream. It was a lot of people, a lot of comments. So I want to say what's up to Valar, also Rick Fisher, Rapid X, Pete M, Jimmy's Jammin', Julie McGuire, Mel the Vulture with several super chats, Paris 1189, Jimmy's Jamming with multiple super chats as well, June Smith, Six Eyed Sports, Lakeisha Faison. Thank you to each and every one of you, and glad we got your comments in there. And also at this point, what I want to do is give that last shout out, not least but last, to the 999 Army. You guys type a quick 999, do some shout outs. And also don't forget, if you're doing a Walker Stalker Comic Con, we got gear as well. And sign up on our Walking Dead 999 Army page, send a link down below too. If we do an extra stream, we'll post it on there. If we cancel a stream, then you'll know in advance. So I want to say what's up to Dave Alford. Everybody's typing 999. There's no way I'll be able to shout out 1,000 people tonight, but I'm going to get as many people as we possibly can. So Betty Jackson, Samantha Coombs, Lisa Marie West, Sam B, Kim McCurley, Chris Rainig, J.S. Pott, M.M. Kalick, Randy West, Lee Bird, Viola McGowan, Mary Ann, Paul Eagle 1000, Shane Yutzy, Lisa Smith. If I do multiple shout-outs, you guys look at the screen. There's no way I can speed read this. I got to slow it down. Deborah Johnson, thank you. Toledo as well. Maggie B, Rhonda DeLuca, thank you, Rhonda. Curious Pup, Shane Hassan, Melinda Kettler says, you rock, Kills, you rock, Melinda. John A. Carter, Chris Riddle, Joey Price. An awesome family. I see Hippo in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Hippo. Shout out to Little Tommy as well. Shanny D, a.k.a. Little Michonne. I see you back, Shanny. Don't think I don't notice when you pop in here. Thank you so much for being here. Howling Wolf, Arthur Janchitsky, I think. It was scrolling really fast, Arthur. Gina Crockett, Legend 83. Cammie, thank you so much, and thank you for signing up on the 999 Army page as well. Sherry Wenzel, thank you. Deborah Mooney. Drama King, New York City. Kimberly G.A. and also Kimberly G.B. We got two Kimberly G's. The Title, thank you. Ida Roma, Amanda Goss. Thanks, Jimmy Coonan, Anthony Martinez, Janet C., Bumblebee Brown, B Squared with Lonnie, Sergeant Chosen One, always a pleasure. DJ Domstott, thank you for being here. Chris Sousa, Star Guitar Goddess, Met Fan, have a good night. And once again, if this is your first stream, your first time being here with us, hit that subscribe button because we want you back. We want your comments, we want your thoughts, we want your predictions, part of our streams. And if you're an awesome person, we want you here. If you're like that one dude that we blocked, then obviously we don't want you here. We want the family, we want the Army to be here. One Conscious, thank you. Appreciate that. Shun It Now, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Kelly Golan's in here with a shout out to the mods. Ron Burgundy. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Dave Alford. Let's hope so. I'm not planning on leaving the show anytime soon, so you guys will have your kill shot for a while. Hey, as long as you guys want to get together and talk about The Walking Dead, we will get together. We'll also, while we're doing a few more shout-outs, do want to make a couple announcements as well, because we got sports fans out there as well. Keep in mind, we have several other channels that are sister channels. If you go to our main page, we got 999 Sports, 999 Plays, 999 Dead, 999 Spoilers. So several different channels. If you're subscribed to all of those, you'll get a notification whichever stream we do. And we will make more announcements. There's going to be more gameplay, more comic book reads. The two announcements I do want to make is we will do a Saturday morning college football stream where we do a college football pick'em. And Sunday at noon, we'll also do our fantasy football segment. So if you're football fans, you definitely want to be a part of that 999 Sports, and that'll be streaming on that channel as well. And we'll be here. Our schedule pretty much for the week is going to be Monday, 9:30, Tuesday, 9:30, Wednesday, 9:30, Thursday, 9:30. Of course, we'll do our sports stream Saturday morning, Sunday morning. And then we do our countdown at 8, and we do a reaction video usually at 10:15. So a lot of things going on with our channel. And your support just makes all that possible, so I appreciate that. And by support, I mean you guys being here, interacting. Watching the ads doesn't hurt. You can sit through a 10, 15-minute ad. I can't tell you to do that, but let me just say that it's good when you watch those ads, especially if it's something that you believe in. That was about as subtle as I can get, right? Crystal, the singer chick Gore. All right. So I know I've missed a ton of shout-outs. So if I didn't hit you in a shout-out once this video goes live, just let me know, remind me. Also, all these comments that are streaming along the side, people are watching the playback. They're going to watch this. There's going to be a lot of people to watch the playback. There's probably going to be 15, 20,000 people that watch the playback. And when they're watching it, they see your comments and they're interacting with you in real time. So go back and check out some of the comments and leave comments to their comments talking about your comments. Right? So, it sounded like a Negan thing. And that's all we got. What we've been doing the last couple of days is at the end of our videos, we've just been doing kind of casual outtakes because we do this thing called Random Things, and we just kind of wind it down and then take it on out. So I'll hang out with you guys for a couple more minutes. Any Walking Dead comments, any open-ended comments that... last night we got into rap battles. I think the night before it was something music-related. Random things will happen once the season kicks back off, and there are a lot of good music streams. Same thing with comments, I'll tell you guys. I think we just hit 77,000 people. We've probably blocked 5,000 people on the channel. Northside Queen, thank you for being here as well. It's sad to say it like this, but there are so many, and it's not even just trolls in today's day and age. I think trolling is, sometimes with trolling, there's some playful intent to it. There's just some vicious, ignorant people out there. That's the only way I can say it. It's not that they're funny. It's just they're rude, and we have blocked a ton of people. Just they don't have any value to the channel except to criticize other people. Or they go on and say, you're an effing idiot, and why would you ever think this? As opposed to going out and saying, I disagree with your comment, and this is why I disagree. They lead in with a rude comment, and that is like immediate block. You have a right to your opinion. You don't have a right to be an ass. That's the difference. There's times that I've gotten in heated debates with many people in streams and conversations, but when we walk away from it, we walk away respecting the opinion of people. And I think read the comments. You should find good dialogue. And that's the thing that I would ask all of you, especially if you're hanging out for our outtakes and just hanging out with us here. Agree with people or disagree with them, but make it a conversation. The fun part of our streams is the conversation, and that extends to our Facebook page and also the comments on the videos. And that's what we want to create. The more real-time dialogue we create around this, the more pure it is and the more ideas we come up with. And some of the best ideas that we've talked about, I'll let you guys know if it's something that I've kind of discovered on my own. But I will tell you, most of the stuff that we talk about on here is something that either you've mentioned or it's in a comment or it's an idea that we all formulated together. So, and absolutely, Dawn of the Frank, I think it's their loss. But we could easily, I think, be at 125, 130,000 subscribers if we were very liberal in the amount of people that just joined. But we're selective. And I think once word gets out, everybody knows, like, okay, well, it's not my cup of tea. I mean, we're not saying it's not going to be emotional. I will tell you, it's going to be a little bit looser when we do the Rick Grimes reaction. I know there's going to be some emotion. But I'm going to try to make at least a portion of that stream a celebration of Rick, of what we enjoyed about him. There will be some frustration, though, and we'll handle it accordingly. I agree with that, Drama King. Can't always agree. No, we can't. Emotion? It's just emotion that's taking me over. There you go, Maggie. And somebody was talking about some rumors the other day. How do rumors get started? Started by the jealous people, and they get mad seeing something they had that someone else's whole... I don't know. I don't know where this stuff even exists at this point. But these are outtakes. This is the way we wind it down. So if you guys got a... everything we do here, I don't know what it is. I can relate it to a song. And speaking of a song, and my love for each and every one of you, I have to say I love you in a song, and we are going to wind it down. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Once again, I wished I could just do shout-outs. I know I miss a ton of people. I probably miss 50% of the people. But if I ever miss you, don't ever make the mistake of thinking that you're not a valuable part of this team and that you're not super, super important. Because if it weren't for each and every one of you, we would not be doing this every night. I will see you all at 9:30 tomorrow night, everybody. Peace. And can somebody hashtag bring Mel back? Because I definitely, we don't want to lose Mel. So let's get a hashtag on the way out the door. Oh, man. And we've got, I can't stop. Crystal, the singer chick, last second, right? I mean, I'm talking, one foot was out the door. But Crystal with the last second super chat says, Kills, we ever had 999 Army Convention. I hope we can do where my band can play for us. And if you want, end up singing. Crystal, I will tell you this. And you guys pencil it in. When we hit the thresholds that we've set, and we set some thresholds with Facebook fans, sponsors on the channel, and subs. And look, it might take us 6 months to get there. It might take us a year to get there. I will do I'll do a song with Crystal's band, and we'll post it. How about that? So we hit those thresholds and we start doing 999 live. One of the things that I'll make a commitment to is a live singing session with Crystal. We'll do a duet. Maybe some Andy Gibb and some Crystal Gale or something like that. There you go. All right. We got a ways to go, but just something else to look forward to. Dave Alford's like a rap. Okay, we'll do that. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is our outtakes. This has been our show. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and I will talk to you all tomorrow night. Peace.